And now we're ready to enter the scores from the contest. So I'm going to use the data entry form for the freestyle contest. So I'm going to go ahead and select the freestyle module. I'm going to select continue in the add and choose contest window. I've already created a sample contest. I'm going to use that one and say yes. Now I come to the main menu. Now I've already entered all the contestants and I modified and deleted any ones that I needed to. The contest is running. The judges are entering scores on score sheets and the runners are running the score sheets over to the tabulators. So I'm going to select enter scores and I'm brought to the main data entry form. Now first I want to point out on top there's an update scores button. After you complete the data entry form for each contestant, you're going to use the update scores button to calculate out the scores. So as the runners bring a score sheet over to the tabulator, they're going to find his name by using the drop-down list. In this case, Philip John. And alternatively, you can just start entering the first couple letters of the person's name, and it'll also bring up the score sheet. And we'll go ahead and enter some scores. I'll go ahead and select Jeb High, and you just put your cursor at the first box. Go ahead and type a score, and after this, all you need to do is hit the tab key to move from box to box. It's very fast and efficient. You can probably enter a complete contestant scores in about 40-50 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and enter some scores for Jeb High. I can also enter decimal point scores. And we'll take a look at this box. If I enter a score that's out of the range of 0 to 10, maybe I made a mistake, it's going to alert me, so I can go back and correct that as I go along. And I'll go ahead and finish entering his scores. Now, as I come to the end of the data entry form, I'm going to use update scores, and we'll take a look at the form. First of all, I want to point out that after you update the scores, on the bottom, you will see the total for Judge 1, 2, and 3. This is the total for all the scores they've given them respectively. And usually these are best written on the score sheets, so you can come back if you need to re-examine them later. The column numbers and row numbers are just a checksum digit to make sure that the program's working correctly. They should add up to the checksum digit, the rows and the columns. Now let's take a look at over here at these last two columns. There's to be entered and then a picture of binoculars, which is a button. After you've entered all the score sheets, you want to make sure that you've entered a number and not made a mistake for each contestant. So as I go down here, you'll notice these are zeros, and we come to this which has the number 2. What this indicates is somewhere throughout all the score sheets on this row there is a 0 where there should be a number. Because in freestyle contests, it's very rare, of course, to give somebody a 0. So if I click the binoculars, I'm going to be taken to the first score sheet that has a 0 in this row. So I'll pull Philippe John's score sheet, and I'll notice here, oops, I did make a mistake. This should have been a 5.5. Then I'll use update scores again. And again, I'm going to go down here, and oops, I must have made one more error. I'm going to use the binoculars. And again, I'm looking at Ron James, and oh, yes, here's a 0. So I'll pull his score sheet, and his number should have been a 7. We'll do update scores. When you've completed this, all this column should be zeros, indicating that you at least have a number between 1 and 10 in each of the boxes. And this concludes the lesson on entering the freestyle data entry form.